This show is proudly brought to you by Home of H Ghana, Yadia Herbal Center, Just Men Ghana, and Unique Hema Establishment Limited, producers of Hema Organics.
From a small town in the eastern region of Ghana called Asesawa, my guest for today is a young gentleman that owns first degree in business administration. He believes that life is a great place to make mistakes and also pick up from those mistakes. He believes education is all. He owns a company that pays young employees, and he's one of the finest gentlemen and also barber that I know existing in Ghana. My guest is seated, and we're going to have in-depth conversations about his education, his business career, and about life in general, and also living in Ghana as an entrepreneur. Welcome, Mr. Godwin Tete. Welcome to the show, Degree.
Thank you very much, Landon. This is actually one of the things that I've been hoping to have, okay? Have a platform where I can actually share my story to inspire others. So when opportunities like this come up, I take it up.
Exactly. Well, the show is actually made for all to inspire, motivate, and encourage each other. That's basically the concept of the show. We're given room for conversations that most media platforms or other channels don't give room to have. That's why the show is actually created. But first off, I actually know you as Degree. I always don't know if there is a day or there is no day, because I normally would say Degree the Barber, Degree Barber.
Okay. So should I give you a short story about the Degree Barber?
We're actually going to go there because if I know you by that, I want to know how the name came about, and I also want to know about your life and growing up, and then the whole journey coming. I mean, the name is mesmerizing. It's like
that's right.
You find out like when you go to other barber shops, we have something the barber.
Yes.
The barber, and I'm like, okay, this is quite different.
Yes.
What degree is he having? I know you have a degree in business administration, but first off, let me just introduce you to my audience. Okay. So would you tell us who you are and, I mean, a little background story? I think that would do.
Okay, so I'm going to make it short. So like you already said, I am Godwin Kofi Tete. So when you say Tete, most people relate it to either Ga or the Krobo.
Yeah.
So to cut your stress, I'm a Krobo. Coming from the Krobo land, Upper Manya Rural Assembly from Eastern Region in Asesawa. Okay. So I started my basic education in Asesawa, then went through school at Akwamine Senior High School. Then I continued to University of Professional Studies. I'm the fourth born to the 5 children that my parents have.
Okay.
And we are here today.
Yeah, we're here today. Today we're going to find out all of that. So how was growing up like you, living in Asesawa and then coming to Accra?
Growing up in Asesawa has been a very difficult one for me because I was one of the children to a single parent, okay? And this single parent I'm talking about is my dad. It wasn't my mom. So my dad took care of 5 of us, which was very difficult for him when it comes to financing our school, food, and all that. So it's been very difficult. I think that is more to the reason why I chose the path of being an entrepreneur, because it started from my childhood, where like getting my basic needs has become a problem. Okay, so you have 4 siblings that a single parent is supposed to be responsible to. Sometimes he tries his very best to meet our needs, but it's not enough. So whilst it's not enough, do I have to sleep home and keep crying? No. So I took on the step to start doing something on my own. So it all started by me starting a space-to-space after GHS. So all these entrepreneurial things started from my infancy, a young and a very tender age. And as I kept growing through life, I began to understand why it is very important to take it on as a full-time thing, because it wasn't just taking care of myself, like as in surviving, but right now it is becoming very big, and I think it was time to bring people on board
To give room for other young people.
That's right.
Would you say your whole entrepreneurship journey started because of where you came from or because of you knew the problems at home?
Yes, I can actually relate it to that, like pinpoint finger to that, because, you know, there is a saying that goes in our native language that says, you understand? So when you are very hungry and you need something, you are not getting it. It's only the lazy people who sit back and fold their arms and wait for people to come and support them. But when things are not going on well with you, you have to take a step. So me taking a step, it was for me to survive. Okay, but at a point I realized that no, this is way beyond survival. If I could actually take care of myself in a university through what I do, like cutting hair, and I could take off my books, I could take off my fees, I could take off my health.
That's quite impressive.
Then I realized that, okay, this was the same responsibilities that I was expecting from my dad, who was doing that, I was supporting with what I was doing. That wasn't really coming, but I was able to do that. Then it means if I put in much effort, I could actually do that and take care of other people.
Yeah, because if your dad also had to take care of 5 of you, you can also take care of a lot of people.
And amazingly enough, my dad is, excuse me to say, a taxi driver. He just had one taxi.
You know, I mean, to cut you short, when I did that research, I mean, almost every time I need to like put someone on the show, it's not about my producers or the directors or people on the show to say, oh, let's put this person on. We actually look for people who have much inspiring stories. And trust me, when I took time to go deep into your life and I realized, wow, your dad is a taxi driver, and then he's a single father taking care of 5 of you. I was like, wow. And then for you to not look at where you come from and then just say, oh, I'm just going to be on the streets, I'm just going to put up any career. You actually choose one of the best career paths, and I might say I'm congratulating you on that. That was great. But if I may ask, where was your mother as at that time when your dad was having all these responsibilities alone?
Oh, okay. Talking about my mom and my dad, as in why they broke up and all that, I think that would be very sensitive for the cameras. But my mom was in Accra.
Oh, okay.
Okay. My mom and dad separated. So I was like, my dad had actually wanted his children all around him.
Oh, that's quite nice.
My mom was.
Well, I actually wanted to know where your mom was, not to go into, even to go into their life, because I mean, I think that's.
So my mom was basically in Accra.
Oh,
He was in Accra, and we're back in Asesawa. I think at the point we came to Udumasi Krobo for my secondary school education.
Okay.
We were staying. My dad had another house at Udumasi Krobo. That is Agobanya.
Okay.
Agobanya. Most people know that side.
Now he says most people know that side. I'm now looking straight into the camera and I'm looking at the director behind the camera and I'm like, Nana, what do I know that place? I don't know anywhere, like literally.
But you know Sobanya?
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know Sobanya, right? We've been there. Yeah.
So Sobanya is not far from Agobanya. Agobanya is just like 2 towns from Sobanya.
I think I have to put that on my travel expeditions one of these days. I have to visit there. But don't worry, my tea is actually served, so you can feel free, take it and sip it.
I think I like the smell of it. It smells good.
Thank you. I mean, we're serving you the best. So now I know about you, growing up. What were some of the struggles growing up before you becoming the successful person that I know you are right now? What were some of the struggles you faced during infancy growing up? Okay,
so when you talk about the struggles, it has so many dimensions. When it comes to educational struggle, emotional struggle, and the stereotypes, okay? The stereotyping when it comes to what I chose to do as a student studying in university, even in high school, wanting to do what I do. There are so many struggles. So my financing my fees became a struggle, and I wasn't like I was let me say intelligent, okay, but a needy student. So before I went to the high school at Akoman, I was on scholarship, okay.
Oh, great.
Plan International Ghana paid part of my school fees.
That's wonderful.
Then my auntie financed it. Then later on, my daddy took it on. But you know, paying your school fees is not just enough for schooling. education they say now is free, but trust me, we all know there's more to education than paying tuition fees.
That's true.
So as to food, my clothing, my books, and all that, it was a struggle. So financial struggle came in, then emotions. Okay, like I've never had that feel of when people say, "Mom," my mom is always there. My mom is always there. So when people speak, most especially when it comes to Mother's Day, I tend to celebrate my dad a lot because he was a dad and a mom at the same time. So that emotional struggle was also there. Then the stereotype. Most of the times, people just call you by names. You know, like kids in school always want to make fun of you when you are not following the general path. Like everybody's in school.
A white-collar job.
You understand?
I know.
I actually had issues with even my dad. Okay.
Why?
Because of the path I chose. After university, who wants to take their child to school? We live in a society where when you choose the path of being creative, okay, being an artisan, somewhere outside the world, that's what works. That's what those are the kind of people want to come close to.
I mean, you can't even go to just every single industry without finding a creative person. In all walks of life, you always need a creative or someone in the arts field. But then it comes to our country where if you're in this path, you're seen as lazy, you don't have good scholarship, you don't have good degree. But then trust me, you have first degree in business administration. Tell me about it.
Having my first degree in business administration, I think it came by grace.
Oh, really?
Because if grace, I attribute it to grace because even in high school, one of my teachers told me that he doesn't believe that I was going to be able to complete the school because he knows my story and knows where I'm coming from, and he feels like the future is very blurry.
Wait, was it your high school teacher or
my
your
high school teacher?
Wow.
Okay, so after high school, I had to, I learned how to cut hair from high school. Yeah. So my school dad I met in high school was a barber.
Okay.
So he didn't know I was studying the craft. But I realized that he started making some money, good money out of what he did. He was charging 50 pesos then for a haircut.
Well, wait, dating back, how many years now?
And that is 2021 now. We are in 2021
Yeah.
now. So let's say 8 years back.
Wow.
So I completed in 2013. I became super perfect at the craft in 2012, thereabouts. Okay, so 50 pesos for a haircut, and he was making so much money. And he was moving out of school because he would graduate soon. And he was my school dad. He was the household name on campus. He was the go-to person for everyone when it comes to haircuts. So I felt like, okay, if my school father leaves,
who then continues the
legacy? Then I realized that no, I could actually do that. So it went on and on and on. I also became the household name. How I became so perfect, okay, we had my dad remarried, and we had a step mom who had a nanny that takes care of the children at home, her children, I mean. So when I go home, I use her hair as practice. When I come back to school,
Your stepmom or your stepmom's child?
My stepmom's nanny.
Oh, okay, so your stepmom had a nanny that you used the hair for
practicals for haircuts.
And how was the first time like?
Oh yeah, I'm that kind of person who always wants to be perfect at something before I go out loud at it. Okay, so I took my time to know the pros and cons in barbering before I even started doing it on my nanny, my stepmom's nanny. Okay, so that practice, then I came back to school, and one time my school dad was very busy cutting somebody's hair, and then one guy wanted a quick haircut. Then I offered to do that. My school dad was surprised. Like, how? Since when?
When were you?
I did a very clean haircut for the guy, and my school dad was surprised. He came back to do the hairlining, and everything was so perfect. So from high school, I graduated, stayed home for a year. Then I was doing freelance haircut for my friends. And one time I did a haircut for a friend, and it was like, wow, it's so nice. He took it home. His brother liked this. His brother doesn't cut his hair in the town. He goes out to the regional capital to do that when he wants to. So he travels from Asesawa to Koforidua to cut his hair. So it was like, if there is a guy in this town who can give good
Good
haircuts like
haircuts,
this. He introduced me to him. He took me to his brother. His brother saw me from the first day and said he was going to open a shop for me.
Wow.
So he opened a shop for me. I operated for like a year, then had some money to start my degree.
So
Then
as at that time, how much were you charging?
there was like a 2 cedis, 50 pesos.
Okay.
So I actually started the whole barber salon in the town. It was one of the classic barber shops in the town.
And what was the name by that time?
Oh, D Rose something, D Rose Barbering Shop. Yeah, D Rose Barbering Shop, because it was for one guy who had a phone shop called D Rose. So he was just investing into other avenues in his entrepreneurial career, and then he
Decided to just rename.
it to his already
Okay.
existing brand.
So right after, so what made you stop working for this person who set you up?
School, obviously,
Okay, so you had to now, so you gathered money from that moment.
to buy my forms, and then because I was virtually crying every day to my dad. I wanted
So
to
you
go to
really
school.
wanted to go to
Of
school
course,
that
I was
bad.
a good student. I actually wrote WASI, how do you call it, Novdek before my WASI. And I had a good grades, okay? My brother was even opting for me to quit and continue school with my
No,
Novdek, but I wanted to complete with my badge.
Wow, that's like great passion, because I know most people who come from, I mean, homes that they're not finding it easy. They'll be like, oh, then there's no need to continue.
That's right. And that's more to the reason why I always want to have this platform and always like
To voice
inspire
out,
people
yeah.
not to give up on
I mean, because this is,
education.
to be honest, this is really inspiring, because for you to come from a home where, one, you're emotionally drained, two, you're thinking about finances, knowing that it's difficult, you would have thought of other means of survival. I mean, there are so many means of survival. You could have thought of doing other things. But then your goal was to still go to school.
You know, there are times when you feel like quitting, okay? But the reason why I didn't quit was I wasn't ready to forgive myself, okay? If I quit education because of money. Because I feel like money shouldn't be
The reason.
the reason. If money is the reason, then I should be able to solve that problem. So I took it upon myself. Okay, so I bought my forms. Even going to high school, like SHS,
Yes.
I bought my school forms myself. Went
Wow.
there.
And
you know, most
was
of the
your
time,
was your dad like what was your dad was still having like issues with school, right?
no, my dad doesn't have issues with school, but like the kind of school and how I wanted to attend my high school, my dad didn't support the idea because he didn't want me to go to the boarding house because I was
Okay.
intelligent but a very stubborn student in high school, JHS.
Okay.
So he took that record from JHS telling me that if I go to the high school with that kind of attitude, it means I was he perceived that I was going to be having issues, so I can't go to the boarding house.
But then he wanted you to go to a day school.
a day school closer to my hometown.
And then you didn't want.
I wanted to move out.
Okay, that's kind of
You
like
get it?
my story when I wanted to just go far from home.
You understand? So I started, I started financing my schooling myself.
So
And
that it's like now you don't have issues to tell me I can't go to. It's like I have my
if
own.
you don't want me to go, I'm going to take off.
So right after GHS, if I'm getting the story right after GHS, you started working for the Rose.
Yes. No, not right after JHS. Right after JHS, I did space to space.
Okay, so space to space right after JHS. Wow, that's a journey. So space to space, and then gathered money, and then helped pay for your entrance to high school yourself.
Yes, myself.
And your dad supported in some bit.
Supported later. And then the scholarship.
Supported later.
Yeah, later in Form 2.
Wow. And then out of that, out of school, after completing school, you continued with the Rose, and then got some money.
Bought my forms.
And then moved to
even
UK.
coming to the university, it was like a contract between my dad and I. Okay, so still financial problems. My big sister was in the nursing by then. My big brother was also in his final year in tertiary. And my kid sister was in high school, and I was just I just completed high school, wanted to go to the university. So the load, it's not his fault.
Yeah, I can imagine, because I was just come to ask, your dad was actually paying for all of these people, and then he was able to push all of these people to this
And amazingly, we are all out of school. All of us has finished the tertiary university.
Congratulations.
I think I should always
to
be
you,
clapping
Daddy.
for my
Yeah,
dad.
I mean, he
love that man.
deserves something. I mean, there are most people that think that, oh, men don't deserve accolades, they don't deserve any praise. But trust me,
did
these
so
are
well.
some of the most amazing fathers out there.
He
And
did
shout
so
outs
well.
to my stepdad. I should be proud of him too, because I mean, without him, I don't think I would have even been here or have room to say, oh, I can even speak English.
Yeah.
I mean, he paved the way and then he made education very key. But I love the fact that as an individual, despite your struggle, you capitalized on going to school, going for what you wanted, and making sure you achieved it. And I have to say, I commend you on that one. People should actually learn more from your story, trust me. If you're watching this, you should watch this. You should actually watch this and then get inspired. So now you moved from the Rose, and then you went to UPSA.
Yeah.
So that's where the name Degree Barber came about. How did it come about?
Okay, so in the university, before I came into the university, I had a friend bought me a clipper. So I was talking about my dad and I going into a contract before I started at school. He was going to help me enter the school, pay my admission fees, then
You would think,
I take off myself.
yeah.
Okay, because I was so desperate of entering into the university, and all my friends.
I mean, that whole desperate mood is what, like, it's giving me chills. Because trust me, some of us, and yeah, we've given up.
Yes.
We've given up in like some short while because
You know, the problem is that, like, you see, people from where I come are not able to continue their education because they either failed their exams or couldn't complete the high school.
oh, okay.
So when it comes out that, like, I had very good grades, okay, I had aggregate 10.
That's wonderful.
Yes, for my JHS high school, I had 12. So
Fantastic.
I was feeling so bad, like, if money is the reason why I can't continue, whilst people had money, but they weren't having good grades to enter into the university, you know, I couldn't. So that was the reason for my desperate,
like the
desperate
whole push to get to
You
school.
get it. So
Great.
when I got to the university, I first made friends in class. First day I entered class, I started selling myself. And that's one thing about me. Everywhere I go, I want people to know that I'm a barber. Started selling myself to
I
the
love the
people.
way you're proud of your career.
Very, very proud. And there are so many reasons. If we are going to talk about everything, this conversation is not going
I'm
to end.
sure we're definitely going to have a special episode for this. But don't worry, we've got spin-off shows also coming up. Oh, that's just it. Anyways, but this ends the season. So I'm sure I can just say this as any time. We have spin-off shows where I think will be a great platform for you to actually speak more and in-depth. So when you got to school, you started marketing yourself.
Yes, and then I had people jump on my clippers one time or two. Then it went on and on and on and on. I had a place to sleep in the hostel because of what I do, kate, and I was a good cook. So I was cooking. You know, boys don't really like cooking.
Cooking, yeah.
So when you have one guy in the room, in the
Who can
hostel
cook.
who can
Yeah,
cook,
it's
you are the
everything
go-to
for-
person. Everybody wants you to cook.
Yeah.
And I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was cutting hair. Then I had a place to sleep. Then later...
Wait, as at that time, you didn't have... So your dad was able to pay for administration, but admission and entrance, but then you didn't have a place to...
Accommodation, no. So I came in.
And why didn't you go to your mom? Because
No.
she was in Accra.
No, I couldn't go to my mom.
Oh, okay.
Because we are not allowed to. My dad doesn't allow us to go. My dad wants us.
So,
by
but what's the
himself.
relationship between your mom and
No,
your mom and you
It
now?
isn't. My mom and
And
I
yourself,
right now.
yeah.
I think it's not as strong as I have with my dad.
I mean, let's not get all emotional. That would be for the spin-off show. So if you want to get more in-depth conversations, just still subscribe to this channel. And if you're listening via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, this is Steve at London, the show tailored for all and sundry. The show is proudly brought to you by Home of H Ghana and also sponsored by Yadia Herbal Capsules and Mixture. For customer relationship or customer relation, I would recommend your barbershop. Come on, like Reflect Barbering Saloon is the best. It is the best. No, I'm not, no caps about it. He's not paid for sponsorship, but I'm actually spelling the fact. I have been there and service is good. To the point where I had a friend travel all the way from Kaswa.
That's
I mean,
true.
even far beyond Kaswa.
And she still comes.
And you see, it's about service. And you see, trust me, he's not paid any ad for this. This is actually legit.
You know, with the kind of brand I'm trying to build, I want that perfection, like a uniform result.
Mm-hmm.
When you cut your hair with a degree barber, it's more or less the same as cutting your hair with the eventuary barber or Nigel. You understand? And I have one suit that has been empty for like almost 2 years of operating now. Not because I want it to be empty. I have so many applications coming in all the time, but I want that kind of perfect person to fit in.
And what seats is that? What vacancy is that?
It's a barber. It's a barber. A
Oh, okay.
vacant position for a barber.
Position, yeah.
You get it. I've had it empty for that 2 years
Wow.
without because people come and I try them. I feel like they don't fit in because I want that uniformity.
So should there be a case where you find someone who fits right for what you are looking for?
Yeah.
Would you not be scared of giving out your very best, teaching this person or educating this person on how to trim hair? Aren't you scared one time this person will just walk out on you and then say, oh, hi, degree, I'm done with you, I don't want to work with you again, and then go start up a company somewhere? Are you not scared of that competition?
I've had that already. I've had that already, but I'm not worried about that because the market is huge.
The market is huge.
And my definition of success is that your ability to have impact in people's life with what you do. So when somebody is telling their story tomorrow somewhere, they can say, grateful hearts can say, I've been with degree before, I learned this from degree, and today I'm here. That is
I mean, that's a success, exactly.
You understand how many people you have been able to put on. When you go on my Instagram, that's what I preach all the time. That is success for me. Success is not about how many cars you have, how many houses you have,
Exactly.
how much money you have in your bank account, but how many lives
have you been able to impact history?
positively, I mean.